What's up, TikTok? It's your boy Chef Nerd 2 coming at you. Yo, I just want to say thanks to all the new followers. Thanks to people who like the little Call of Duty trailer that I put together. That's just a rough draft, though. I posted up on my YouTube, and somebody commented on it. I was not expecting this particular type of comment, but the guy basically was like, it looks cool, and he's intrigued enough. He's like, I hope it doesn't take long, and got a few subscribers out of that, and it's just like, yo, this is what I've always wanted to do, right? See, there's another side to it. I've always been the one that I've always given up, like being in prison, and I wrote my poems and became a published poet, and then having a bad experience with the whole publishing company, I just, it was just like, I don't want to do that again. So yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for novels, but I am wanting to work on my autobiography. But all this is really coming about with, playing Call of Duty and just sitting here one day, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna mess around and I'm gonna see what I can do. And I got in the zone and started just messing around, and music and templates and this and that, and it was like when I finally put it together and I finally looked at it, it's like, wow. But I wasn't looking at it like I put it together. I wanted to look at it as a viewer, and of course, I'm going to be like, yo, this is making, I did it. But it's like, I want people to look at my stuff and be like, yo, that's amazing. But the reality is, I know that may not happen. Doesn't mean I have to give up. No. This whole Call of Duty thing is basically a passion project, right? And I mean, if it goes somewhere, it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But the whole point about this is the journey. I'm learning stuff about editing. I'm learning stuff about, timing and camera controls, angles, all of this stuff. I'm like really sitting down and paying attention to. And that's the key word I'm learning. I'm learning more about myself, and that I don't have to give up. That just because somebody may not like my content, or I may wake up with 50 less followers the next day. It's going to happen, and that's life. But in my past, it was very hard. Something like that would be catastrophic to my world. But going to prison and not having control, and being on parole and still not having that control, getting into this whole Call of Duty thing and like making that trailer, that little whole rough draft, I sat back and I said to myself, I did that. I control that. There was no parole officer telling me you gotta have this done. There was no, CO looking over my shoulder like, yo, you need to get this, edited and posted on out there. No. If you want people to see your passion, if you want people to see where you are coming from, you have to go against a thing called fear. You go against that thing called fear and you post your content, right? It may get 1 view, 1 like. It may get 1,000 views and 2 likes. But guess what? It did something. It made a small ripple. And everything starts from a small something. I've learned that, we've seen it before, people somehow get lucky and get overnight success, right? But you have to be real with yourself and say, just because it happened to them don't mean it can happen to you, right? The thing is, you have to be willing to put in work into your creativity. Just like you put in work into your mental health healing, you work. Work is work, okay? But you have to put in work to go against fear too. When you go against fear, you get results. That's the key word. It shouldn't matter if your content is 1.5 mil, 20 mil overnight. Cool. You did something. You made a huge, but guess what? You probably been at this for a long time. But let's look at the folks that's probably got so many ideas in their head that's probably literally put to fruition, brought to the material world their ideas, their passion. And they're probably sitting there looking at that like, man, but ain't nobody gonna give two craps about this, right? And they'll put it in a drawer and forget about it. They'll burn it up, get rid of it. Or they'll delete it. And then 5 years later, that same idea that they had, they scroll on YouTube and they seen somebody else, but they probably like, but wait a minute. I'm telling y'all. I tell myself this, sometimes it's those ideas when we think that people just won't give two doggons about it, that sometimes that's be the one that's going to really get people to sit back and really want to get to know you beyond your content. And that's what this is about. Learning about yourself so you can show people who you are through your content so they can come back onto your platform and get to know you beyond what you post. And I say this to inspire everybody who watches this video. I went longer than what I wanted it to, and I apologize, but if you're still watching this, I appreciate you. I'm getting over being sick and everything. But yes, I really appreciate you all. I want you all to stay inspired. Keep doing what you're doing. We got to support each other out here. So, real quick, check it out. My Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 movie project. It's a rough draft trailer, so, it's nothing special, but it's special to me. But, some of you may like it, some of you may not, and that's okay. But I just hope that what I say resonates with you all. And if there's somebody out there who's got a poem sitting in a stack of papers somewhere, some of us would be very interested into seeing what you have to say. With that, Chef Nerd 2 is out. I want everybody to have a good, safe weekend. Stay positive, stay safe. I love y'all. One love.